This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
Welcome in, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Live on Jocks. It is Thursday, August 14th. Hope you guys having a good week. Getting set for a little more college football. We're going to get you closer today. And unfortunately, we come full circle again today, which I feel like we've done about 5 times here in the offseason for the Auburn Tigers. We'll have Zach Barnett coming up in 20 minutes. He will discuss an article that he has out sort of referencing a tweet of a quote from Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn. I was watching Florida State stuff before the show today.
That's twice in the last 5 minutes. I love it.
Well, I stayed up watching the Dodgers-Angels last night, which was a hell of a game.
You had to know what was going to happen.
Logan O'Hop, walk-off.
Another one.
Zach Neto, great.
Dodgers.
Big hit late.
Dodgers been walked off 2 games in a row.
Have you ever seen anything like this with the Dodgers right now? They have been swept by the Angels this season.
Over. They haven't lost to the Angels this year. Yeah. 3 walk-offs.
Haven't won against the Angels. They've lost every game.
That's what I meant. They haven't beaten them. 3 walk-offs.
How about Shohei last night? First player since 1900 to lead off with a triple and start a pitcher in the same game. 1900. It's been a minute since that happened.
I'd say 1900 was a while ago.
Also,
that was right around the time when Sewanee went undefeated.
I wish I could remember all those guys' nicknames from that team. I can't right now. Also, for the first time since September 25th, 2010, the Padres are in first place in the West this late in the season.
Oh, my goodness.
How are you feeling about it?
I mean, I just don't care anymore.
Oh, now you don't care.
No, I'm just like, I can't hang on every single game, every single pitch. Like, this team has felt snake bit. They have so many injuries to the bullpen. They have absolutely no depth with pitching because everybody gets hurt.
They have an $8 billion payroll in their snake bit.
Look how many guys are on the IL. It's
go buy more guys.
You can't do that this time of year. Believe me, if we could, we would. I'm sure we would. But the amount of guys that we have that are banged up and have been all season
Pay
is
for
absurd.
Tougher guys.
That's what we need. We had a bunch of paper mache guys. All right, let's go through this. All right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 guys on our 40-man rosters that are currently on the injured list.
Nobody feels sorry for the Dodgers.
I'm not suggesting that they should. All I'm telling you is that this has been the most snake bit season I've ever seen.
Let's go through how meaningful this is. Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, Tommy Edman.
Tanner Scott's our starting closer.
Enrique Hernandez.
Kirby Yates is our starting, our best relief pitcher.
Max Muncy, Brock Stewart, all the big names.
Kike Hernandez.
All the big names.
You don't have to say they're having 3 of your relief pitchers on the IL, and that's our problem. That's our biggest issue. And we just got 2 back. Blake Trainin just got back. A handful of other guys just got back. Like it's not great.
Well, when you have Kershaw, Yamamoto, Shohei, Glasnow, Blake Snell, I feel like you should be okay. I don't care what your bullpen is.
Kershaw, Snell, and Shohei's only pitched like 6 or 7 games, and Glasnow, but Snell, Kershaw, and Glasnow have been on the IL for months.
Okay.
They're all back now, but
nobody cares about this.
No one's saying you should feel sorry for us. I'm not suggesting that you should.
I feel like you're looking for sorrow here.
Oh, here, Michael Kopech. He's coming back from a 60-day IL. He's our
big name.
He's our setup guy. Tony Gonsolin, who's a starter, but it sounds like he's going to be done for the year. I mean, it's just been an unlucky season. It's just the way it goes. I mean, it just is what it is.
All right. Zach Barnett takes a quote from Justin Hokanson day before yesterday on Auburn play calling. And Zach is going to join us in about 13 minutes. We'll ask him about this and just more importantly, Zach works for Football Scoop, so he is entrenched in the coaching world, understands how it operates, where it is. He reports on coaching moves, talks to coaches, so he'll be able to help us understand it just a little bit more. I can't help you understand what Justin Hokanson shares. And Hoke's been on the show before. He does a great job covering Auburn, but he tweets out 2 days ago, since we spoke with Derek Nix and Ken Austin yesterday, just to reiterate, if you're an Auburn fan in your car, maybe pull over and stop.
Oh, boy.
Just take a deep breath.
Oh, boy.
Nix handles first down strategy / play calling. Austin handles third down strategy / play calling. And as Nick said a few Freeze, head coach has authority to overrule anything we say or do. How often is Freeze overruled, he asked. Quote, it depends on how the game's going, but he's highly involved. To me, he's an outstanding play caller, and I've learned everything from him. I feel like I know where that was directed. He also has, generally speaking.
I didn't even pick that up.
Well, that's my only out for this whole thing. I mean, we'll get to that in a moment. Generally speaking, Freeze, there's no doubt it's a combined effort to some degree, but Freeze is a primary play caller and has authority to overrule everything. That's what Hokanson adds to this. All right, let's just start with this. If it's operating this way.
But hang on, let me just address the quick shot across the bow against Lane.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, was Derek Nix not threatened with a lawsuit for leaving unless he was primary play caller? I mean, that's factual information, correct? So
yeah.
Okay, there you go.
I love it.
All right, so
I love the cattiness. It's the best.
Well, and it works both ways.
100%.
If it does operate, let's just say 60% of the time, the way that it's laid out by Justin Hokanson through quotes from Derek Nix, Ken Austin, Hugh Freeze. Have you in your life ever heard anything like this? That's what I thought.
I am kind of befuddled because what in any leadership world, help me understand this. And it doesn't matter if you have a business of 6 employees, a business of 2 employees, a business of 2 million employees like IBM, like whatever the circumstances are. How many businesses function smoothly and or properly with 3 CEOs?
I have not heard of many.
Well, I just feel like if I were setting up a company, and if you really look at it, a football team is a conglomerate, right? That's that's the structure of what a football team is. You have your defensive company, that's your defense. Your offensive company, that's your offense. Your special teams company that uses some pieces of both. It's a conglomerate.
Yep.
And within my conglomerate, if I'm the head coach, I am the CEO of that conglomerate. I don't think I want to have 17 presidents in charge of what's going on the defensive side. I think I want one voice. And with Auburn, it doesn't sound like there is one voice. It sounds like there's at least 2, maybe 3. And I don't know how that functions smoothly or properly.
I will say this, everything that I'm hearing from camp and people that I've talked to, Durkin has been outstanding. Not just his entire tenure there, but specifically in fall camp. And the defense through him, not necessarily just individuals dominating, has looked pretty good.
No doubt.
That's the word that I've gotten. So
okay, well, let's talk about the offense then.
But we could also follow that up with, I can tell you perfect example of how dysfunctional it is when one operates as their own past what would normally be how they would operate. And that would be Bill Oliver would shut practice down an hour before the team's practice was finished because he didn't feel like they needed to practice that long. He was probably right. But they would go out there and they'd be period 18, they'd be done, and we would go to 24. And they would go in, watch film, and come back out so the team could all, take a knee around the coach and be told what the week's plans were every day. Who was in trouble, who had good grades, what we were going to do tomorrow, what not to do that night, so on and so forth. We did that, and it was completely backwards.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe the defensive side seems to be okay, but if this, like I said, I have one out for this whole thing. I have one out, and I'll lay that out for you here in just a second, but this just reeks of dysfunction. And keep in mind, this very well could be, I don't know another way to say this. This very well could just be a cover-up. And this very well could be a way to prop others up, which is fine. Which is honestly why I'm not going to make a huge deal about it, because my gut tells me that that's largely how it operates.
You mean
I
because
also
of the
know
contract stipulation
Yes.
surrounding Derek Nix is higher?
Yes. He has to be stated as the primary play caller. But with multiple other things this offseason, Greg, it feels like this is a distraction that could have been avoided very easily. All you have to do is ask me the question about who calls plays.
Who calls plays?
Derek Nix is our primary play caller, but multiple folks have input. Thank you.
As opposed to...
How many follow-ups do you have to that? Because when you state it with confidence that Derek Nix is your primary play caller, whether he is or not, most people are going to say, okay, cool, moving on.
This is basically the Marshawn Lynch, I'm just saying this so I don't get fined type of deal. That's what's going on here. Like, I think for sure the cover-up storyline totally makes sense. The other thing, though, that concerns me, what have we seen already in the past from Auburn? Last year.
There was back and forth with play calling last year.
No, I'm not talking so much about the play calling.
I'm just laying that out. There was. And at times, I believe it was a little bit problematic, but it was there.
What happened last year, though, that was the biggest problem? Deflecting blame. Oh, it's our quarterback's fault. No, it's my fault. Oh, it stops with me, but it's my quarterback's got to do better. Like, deflecting blame. So now if the offense lays an egg against Baylor week 1, who are we blaming? Like, you got to take ownership to an extent, right? Like, hey, the offense is my responsibility. The defense is my responsibility. Quarterback play is on the quarterback. And we got to make sure that he's coached up to the point in which he doesn't make mistakes. Like, I just sometimes...
Are you saying that part of this you believe could be paving the way for more of that?
No, it just concerns me knowing that was a problem last year. Like, I need to know who's in charge of what. And I feel like there needs to, and I just, if for whatever reason now, what if first down they don't gain a yard all year, and third down, what if third down they're awful all year? Is that Ken Austin's fault?
I think that's where I was going, is some people might hear this in the way that you're laying it out and say, oh, so this is all being, we've got, the big road grader now. What is it called? The big roller thing.
Yeah.
Pave the road. What are those things called? Roller?
Steamroller?
We've got the roller set up now to pave the road for when things go bad on first down for a game, and we were stuck in a bunch of 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11s. Y'all heard who handles first down?
Yeah.
That's Coach, you were 1 for 12 on third down. Well,
that one's on Kent.
We got to talk to our third down play caller about that.
Yeah.
Who's
in the red zone?
Some people may assume that it's the road is being paved for that. I don't know.
It's also not as simple as just, hey, first down, third down. There's red zone. There's 2-minute. There's
4-minute.
Yeah, there's
maybe
melt the clock 4-minute. There's
middle 8.
There's P and 10, which by the way is the first play of the drive, is oftentimes a different strategy than a standard 1st and 10. First play of the drive, P and 10. That's a little different sometimes.
Script, off script.
Script, off script. Yeah, goofy, off schedule, on schedule. Target plays where you're trying to get it to a certain guy because he hasn't got enough looks. Like who's calling those? I don't know. I just wish Hugh Freeze would say, you know what, we're gonna get sued. I don't care. I'm calling the plays. That would make me feel a little bit better. But then again, hiring Derek Nix the way he did and the circumstances surrounding it with Ole Miss and the relationship there, I mean, you got to kind of cover your bases a little bit. But man, it's just going to be low-hanging fruit in the event in which the offense underwhelms again this year. This story will be brought up again. Like, I am limiting risk here. I'm limiting distractions. I'm limiting negative conversations. From Auburn's vantage point, you don't want those things because people already think your program's dysfunction junction and have for years, long before Hugh Freeze got there. So now this doesn't help matters if they go out and hang 17 against Baylor. You know what I mean? It's just people are going to pick on this, and they're just going to gravitate to the negativity. And I just don't think you need to give it to them. And I don't know why Auburn seemingly always does.
No, it goes back to the point of it felt like this just could have been avoided. But in one side of it, you appreciate clarity, honesty, transparency. But on the flip side,
if it is any of those things,
well, but there's a reason that coaches have frustrated us for 100 years with coach speak.
125, dating back to Swanee 99.
Things that don't need to be out there. Things that people don't need to know. You don't need to know exactly how everything operates.
Yeah, we don't have to tell you. That's the other thing. They don't really have to tell us anything. How many things have we learned from Lane Kiffin in his press conferences?
Not many.
He doesn't like Coke.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't like sugar.
Yeah, he kind of took a shot
Doesn't
at
like
that.
sugar.
Yeah.
What else have we learned? What did we learn from Nick Saban at press conferences other than like just driving home a point? And I mean, honestly, like
about the operation, almost nothing.
No, like yeah, the inner workings of the actual organization, nothing. The messaging, sure. That's what the press conferences should be used for.
And I think we made a big deal about when Kirby came out and said, we don't want a GM. What do you think we do? It's part of our job. But the fact that he laid out part of that, I mean, we spent multiple segments on that today that it was said because we just thought, wow, he's actually pulling back the curtain here just a little bit. Doesn't happen from him a whole lot.
No, it was probably accidental. I don't know, man. I want Auburn to win this year. I do. I will be the first to admit. And I think they can win. I think that's why I want them to win, because I think they can. But it just, things like this just make me angry.
And one of the reasons I think they can will be if the defense is truly taking steps. We'll hear from DJ Durkin after we talk to Zach Barnett. We'll talk to Zach, who wrote this article, taking some of the quotes from Justin Hokanson and tweets from Auburn, or quotes from Auburn coaches in his tweet that he included. And we'll see his thoughts. And kind of maybe he looks at it like we do, that the cover-up that is there, the context in which things are being said intentionally is why we should brush this to the side, or should we be more concerned? Alabama heat and humidity, you should probably be concerned about that. Don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jocks. Find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com. It's hard to stop a Trane. Zach Barnett of Football Scoop joins us next right here on Mac and Cube in the morning.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, three-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Going to get to Zach Barnett of Football Scoop here in just a moment. Continue talking Auburn play calling. Before we do that, we know who calls the plays at Bromberg's, Greg.
Well, they're the very best. And basically, you know who calls the plays? That's the customer. You just have a better experience when you go shop at Bromberg's. That elevated experience. The jewelry is timeless, absolutely beautiful jewelry. And if you look at just everything that is kind of surrounding the Bromberg experience, it's only going to get better with the renovation that's currently going on at the Mountain Brook store. It really is. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like, because I already thought the experience was elevated beyond what I could have imagined. And now it's going to be even better. So highly recommend you go and check out Bromberg's in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit. You can also check them out online at brombergs.com.
All right, let's go to the Higginbotham hotline. Welcome in Zach Barnett of Football Scoop. This article we were referencing a little bit earlier, written by Zach, referencing the Auburn play calling. Now, for me, Zach, there's an easy out here. And the easy out is contractually how Derek Nix left Ole Miss, the stipulations that were still in that contract, and this coaching staff kind of trying to work around that to allow legally him not to be sued, I guess. Could it be that easy of a solution for you? Or do you still see mass discombobulation with how this operation is working on that side of the football?
I'll say that wouldn't be the first time in college football. I remember Joe Wickline, when he left, I believe it was Oklahoma State for Texas, he had to have an offensive coordinator title. I don't believe any play calling was working into his contract, but he had to have the offensive coordinator title. So Sean Watson was technically the quarterback's coach, but everyone knew he was calling the plays. So wouldn't be the first time. Having said that, I've never seen an arrangement at least described outwardly as convoluted as this one. To be sure, basically every single coaching staff in America collaborates on game plan. I'm not aware of a single offensive coordinator or head coach that emerges from a dark room after 48 hours with the game plan written onto 2 stone tablets. Like it's always a team effort, but I've never heard an arrangement of this person is calling first down, this person's calling third down. Is it maybe worked similarly other places? We just never heard it described to this degree. Sure, but I can't think of another arrangement where you have basically 3 quarterbacks trying to throw the football here.
It doesn't sound like an arrangement that is going to work real well.
Listen, Todd Berry put 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time at ULM.
Oh.
It can be done, okay? It can happen.
I've heard
one was
that.
right-handed, one was left-handed, by the way, so it worked out perfect.
Could roll
You're
in either
always
direction.
throwing to your open side there.
Love that. You would like to think that Division I football, you could find a right-handed quarterback that can throw on the run to the left, but maybe those guys are harder to find than you realize. Zach, some of the only thing that concerns me about this is not that it could be a cover-up. I don't really care about that. If it is, that's great. That's contractually working on things. I'm fine with that. What concerns me, though, is that last year there was a lot of finger-pointing, and there was a lot of the blame game being played at Auburn, where it's the quarterback's fault. Oh, it's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. And there's the ownership was kind of lacking at times. That's my only fear here. And I feel like now when you have the play-calling responsibilities divvied up, if they're 1 for 12 on third down, now all of a sudden Kent's going to get an earful, and they're going to say, it's kind of deflecting blame onto that. Like, at what point does that become problematic for the team's culture?
That's a great point. And then, you can even go further and, if it's 3rd and 10, that's kind of a first down. We got a lot of 1st and 10 plays we like. Let's go with our first down play sheet. You can go deep into this wormhole as you want. And I think you're asking the ultimate question, Greg, is who has ownership over this and who's ultimately the best man to actually call these plays. If it's Hugh Freeze, I understand there may be contractual questions here, but if it's you, then have Hugh call it. There's plenty of successful head coaches that call their own plays. At the NFL, almost half of them do. If it's not Hugh, then Hugh needs to trust the guys that he's hired to do the job to actually do the job. And if the really my question, my biggest worry for Auburn is that Kent and Derek Nix are going to be calling plays that, if it's their turn to call a play, are they calling the play in that situation that they think is the best, or are they calling the play that they think Hugh wants them to call? Sometimes those are going to be the same. Sometimes they might not be. And so I think if we're playing this game of keep away, so to speak, that's my biggest question. And it boils down to what you alluded to at the beginning, is just ownership. Where's the buck stop with this offense?
It's an interesting point. Do you get to where you're essentially trying to call plays not to be overridden, just to prove yourself right to the head coach, as opposed to doing what's best for the football team and trying to win? All those things can creep into your head mentally when you're trying to do something like that. What's another example you have of anything close to this? Maybe even just from an input standpoint, coaches you've spoken to, staffs you've spoken to, where, hey, we lean on our running back coach, Coach McElroy, on first downs. Whether it's opening a drive, whether it's in the middle of a drive, middle of the game, late in the game, whatever that is, like, I go to him and I at least get his idea, and then we go from there. Or, our wide receiver coach, Coach Saber, he gives us third down ideas. I lean on him for our third down ideas no matter what. It might not be the play call, but at least from a communicative standpoint, that's how it operates. Do you have anything close to that you can at least point to or reference?
I know a lot of staffs, I think kind of your similar division of labor is you might have your offensive line coach. He's in charge of red zone. And so that
short yardage.
That doesn't necessarily mean when you cross the 20 that he's got the aux, so to speak, to call the plays, but he's designing the call sheet for the red zone. And then that gets uploaded or put onto the call sheet, and you're choosing from the menu that he selected. And obviously presented to the offensive coordinator or the head coach, but he's done the film work, the study, and selected the 8, 10, 12 plays that are going to work best in the red zone. A certain guy will have third downs. A certain guy will have drive starters. But they're ultimately presented among the group and then presented to the offensive coordinator, the play caller. He gives his okay. And so maybe he didn't arrange every single one on there, but he's the one ultimately calling every single play, but with heavy input from the rest of the staff. I think that's the most typical arrangement of how this work is usually divided. Looking
at Hugh, I think he's got the support of the big money boosters. I do. I think he's got great support there. I think he's done a good job of nurturing those relationships, and those are the guys that ultimately make the call. Now, those guys traditionally have been a little bit unpredictable and can turn in an instant. So where exactly does he land right now, as far as the support within the biggest decision makers in the program from your vantage point?
I think I agree. I mean, Hughes himself come out and said that we need to win this year. I think I'm not going to give you a number because it always depends on how that number is arrived at. But I know that 5 or 6 is not the number that anyone at Auburn has in mind. And I think ultimately it boils down to how Jackson Arnold performs this year, because Oklahoma essentially put him on the trash heap, and Hughes stumbled by and said, "I can turn this guy into something." And if Jackson Arnold plays like the guy everybody thought he was going to be coming out of high school, including me, I mean, I saw him play in high school, and my reaction was they need to get this guy off the field. He's too good to be playing high school football. He was dominant when I saw him play. So I was surprised by his struggles at Oklahoma. But, I mean, he was a disaster at Oklahoma, frankly. Took too many sacks, turned the ball over way too often. If he's still that guy at Auburn, then he's probably getting fired. A, because the team didn't win well enough, and B, because his calling card offense, he's proven that he either made the wrong decision in terms of who he recruited, or his player development chops aren't where they need to be to win at Auburn. Now, if Jackson Arnold plays like the 5-star recruit that he was, Auburn wins 8, 9, 10 games, and we're not even discussing Hughes' job security.
Zach, I wasn't going to ask you this or kind of go down this path when you joined the show, but I mean this with all sincerity. Does that make Jackson Arnold individually the most important player in college football to sort of all of it? Like how everything goes? I mean, maybe John Mateer is in this discussion because I think Venables could be in a similar spot if things don't go well there, but it almost feels like this has even more ramifications because of some of the reasons you outlined.
Yeah, Mateer was going to be the other one that I was going to name, simply because Oklahoma has installed such a power structure that is so independent of Brent Venables that they could eject him and they could fire Brent Venables and even keep Ben Arbuckle. Like, that wouldn't be the most shocking outcome to me. I think they have basically Randall Stevenson's basically the AD now, who got there after Brent, and Brent certainly didn't have any input in hiring. They have Jim Nagy. Who, I'm not going to say Brent protested his hiring in any way, but I don't think Brent. It was a situation where, hey, we're going to hire this guy, not who do you think we should hire? We're hiring this guy. So all of that infrastructure is going to exist whether Brent Venables is the head coach or not. So he obviously went out and got Arbuckle and Mateer. So I think, to answer your question, I think those two quarterbacks are most tied to their head coaches of anyone in college football.
Zach, we appreciate the time this morning. Great stuff kind of laying this out. Great job on the article as well. We look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Sounds good. Anytime.
There you go. Zach Barnett, footballscoop.com. Find his work there. Has an article out about this play calling situation at Auburn. How problematic do you think it is? 800-239-9569. 800-239-WJOX. Is it along the lines of what potentially could mean down the road, the fact that it's being discussed publicly the way that it is, or do you look at this, turn the page, and say, it's the way it's been, Hugh's going to run it the way he runs it, and I'm not worried about it? You can text into the show, 205-834-9450, You can also tweet into the show at Mac and Cube. We'll continue this discussion next right here on Jocks.
The capital of the sports talk nation. This is Jocks 94.5 and JocksFM.com. Birmingham.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy Cubelic in the morning. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. That'll get you on the Higginbotham hotline. Join in on this discussion about Auburn play calling. And after our conversation with Zach Barnett, Greg, are you less concerned, more confused about the situation with how play calling is being managed allegedly at Auburn?
I would say more confused is probably the most appropriate answer. I don't understand how this works seamlessly unless it's purely to avoid any conflict as it relates to the past employer status of Derek Nix at Ole Miss. To me, that makes perfect sense. And it's not that uncommon, by the way, to have a coach whose primary focus throughout the week is to do the third down game plan. That is not uncommon. So I can live with Ken Austin doing the third downs. I've just never heard a guy that's responsible exclusively for first down and then a guy that's exclusively responsible for third down with second down being up in the air. That to me I've never heard that arrangement. But the third down arrangement is not that uncommon. That has happened before. I don't love it because I feel like as a play caller, not that I've ever done it in a live game, I feel like there's a certain rhythm to calling plays and you kind of get in that rhythm and then all of a sudden you kind of get the hot hand as a play caller. So I'm not one that kind of likes to delegate that responsibility. Cole, from your vantage point, how comfortable are you with a guy that's responsible exclusively just for third down as opposed to a guy that might be doing first and second down by himself?
If that's the way it goes, and I'm going to keep saying that because I don't even know if I have true clarity on it. And the more I talk about it, I think I'm less concerned about the operation and just more concerned about how it's gotten to this point publicly. As you stated before, potentially outlining reasons down the road of how it could be discussed, or just the fact that an FU coach could have stepped in here and said, stop talking about that. Here's our answer for that. Derek Nix handles the primary play calling. Everyone has input. And it's over. It's not to this point. And there just feels like there have been multiple things that could have been handled that way and could have been shut down like that. But nobody wants an FU coach anymore because they want everybody to tell them yes. So that's what we get. Do I think that there's this discombobulation on the headset on first down and then second down and then third down with three different people? No, I don't. I think we know who the primary offensive voice is on the staff. It's why he was hired. It's why he's there. It's why he's the head coach. I don't really have a problem with the guy saying, I've heard a couple of guys that we've sat in meetings with and say, I know I can always turn to so-and-so on first down and if I need an idea, or if there's a tendency that I need to break, or if there's something that maybe I haven't noticed in the game, and they'll be that voice of reason for me. I've told the story about Barry Odom and Michael Shearer when he was on his staff at Arkansas. And Shearer was essentially his FU guy. Shearer was always the guy that would say, stick to the plan. Stay with the plan. Stay with the plan. Because Barry wanted to pressure and Barry wanted to be aggressive and do different things. And Shearer would just say, don't do it. Stay back. This is how we plan for this. It's going to work. You have to trust it. So having a guy that is more in tune with third downs and how you need to operate there, and he's watched more and he's put more time in it intentionally during the week, I have no issue with somebody being sort of your idea guy on third down. Because I'm not sitting here thinking that there's 3 headphone channels and Hugh's sitting there switching the channels on every down. I don't think that's real. It's just not. Like I know, there's just not enough time for that. There isn't. Now, if something else is happening from a football team perspective and a drive is beginning and he gets on the headset and says, Derek, take this. And he's got to go down and talk to DJ Durkin about whatever the defense is doing, or he needs to get into an official for a couple of minutes because of a call that was made. Can totally see that.
Yeah.
But again, the bigger concern for me here is that we are to this point publicly, and it didn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. And maybe that's Maybe that's a lack of coaching in different departments that coaches don't care about. Maybe it's being too honest and transparent, which we have seen Hugh be since he's been there a couple of times. He's admitted that.
Yeah.
But I am not sitting here telling you sound the alarm on the operation because I don't think that that's overly problematic. Hugh has said it before. There are certain points in time in games where he says, I'm 0 for 4. I'm giving it to somebody else. Give me a pinch hitter, and he'll let somebody else call a series. He's said that.
And I think that's great. That's super healthy. It's like giving another quarter, hey, pull your starter for a second, let the other guy get a series, just take a look, calm it down a little bit, and then get back in there. I think that's a perfectly fine way of handling play calling responsibilities. I don't think we need to get too caught up in it because, frankly, however it is they call it, is it a little bit irritating that it has to be kind of described that way because of contracts potentially? Yeah, that's a little irritating. But like at the end of the day, if they score points, like who cares? I don't care. I don't care if you have the kicker calling second down. If they're scoring points, it's all that matters. But doesn't it just kind of this year's all about execution. However they get there is fine. Last year, what cut them short was execution. And frankly, decision making and honestly, like timely play calling was a little bit of a problem as well. The best example of that being the Georgia 4th down. They had a busted play on 4th and 1. Can't happen. I don't care if you run the worst play on planet Earth. Like, you got to make those guys at least tackle you. So I just think that while apparently a little troubling, not the end of the world because it's ultimately about execution on game day. Regardless of who calls the plays, doesn't matter. If the players execute the way they're supposed to execute, it shouldn't be an issue.
What did you think of what I asked Zach Barnett? And folks are going to hear this and swerve off the road, throw their cell phone, whatever. But I want you to honestly, before you get frustrated, think about this for a second with the way that Zach laid it out. Because of how people view the Giants' swing and miss at quarterback last year.
Yeah.
And because of the perception of and Greg and I have laid out all the reasons it didn't go well for Jackson Arnold last year. And there's a laundry list of them. What would be after laundry list? Like, what's the next longest list? We always use a laundry list. Whatever the
grocery list.
It would be a grocery list of things that were working against him at Oklahoma last year.
A litany?
I mean, people walk around every day and be like, let me get
I don't dislike that at all.
Let me check my litany list here. That's long. It's a long one. There was a litany list of reasons it didn't go well for Jackson Arnold that weren't necessarily on him. Now, like you said, ultimately, he's the guy catching the snaps. Got to make a play. Let go of the football. But is it crazy to think that he may be the single most important player in college football when it comes to what's on the line for the program?
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. I hate to put that much pressure on as a young man that kind of fell victim to the pressure a little bit last year. But I think as far as prospects and possibilities this year, if he lives up to potential, Auburn goes from a 6-6 football team to a 10-2 football team potentially.
And I don't mean it to add extra pressure to Jackson Arnold himself. What I mean to do is that, because you could say if Gunnar Stockton goes out this year and completes 31% of his passes, has 4 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, people are going to say, woo, Kirby missed on that one. But Kirby didn't throw everything into the quarterback basket a year ago, and the public perception is that was the biggest swing and miss of his career. So you don't have the follow-up at the same position where he is notably an expert at, where people would reference back to. Even if Thomas Castellanos and Gus Malzahn don't work for Norvell, he didn't have the giant miss the year before that people would reference back to and say, all right, this is 2 years in a row. This has gone bad for you. You obviously don't know what you're doing. And that's why I say that maybe this does fall into that category, because the perception of what did not happen based on that choice last year versus this appearing to be a giant choice again this year. And all of a sudden, if it doesn't go bad, I mean, Zach's quote on the show was, Hugh Freeze is going to get fired. I think that makes Jackson Arnold, when it comes to maybe the fallout of everything around him, potentially the most important player in college football. Yeah. Give me another one. I mean, John Matier, like Zach said, may be up there,
Yeah, John Mateer's probably up there. I think you could make a case for Garrett Nussmeier, but that's not really an unknown, right? Like
Brian Kelly's not going to get fired because Nussmeier didn't work.
No, I'm not suggesting that. But, I mean, if you're talking about possible fallout with a coaching staff, perhaps. I mean, you can make a case that if Florida State and Thomas Castellanos don't work out and they go 3-9 after a 2-10 last year, maybe there's some fallout there.
But that's a little more collective than
perhaps
on Castellanos.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot riding on it. There's no doubt about it. But the good news is, like, talent. Like, you cannot teach talent. Like, if you have talent, you have a chance. And we've said that forever and ever and ever. And if they play up to their potential, then there's no telling what could happen this year. But that is also a big if. That's not a guarantee. And given the inconsistencies of last year, that is of slight concern.
Has to be. We'd love to get your thoughts. 800-239-9569. 800-239-WJOX. Text into the show, 205-834-9450. You can tweet into the show at Mac and Cube. We'll get to some of your feedback on the other side. But first, John, tell our listeners if they want to be a part of the Jocks kickoff party, they want to come hang out with us, talk some college football with us face-to-face, just exactly how some of our listeners here in the next week or so are going to be able to do that.
Yes, you can celebrate the start of the college football season with us a week from today over at Regents Field for the Jocks Kickoff Party presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC. You can text the keyword SCORE and your name to 205-834-9450. That's 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn daily. This is your last week to enter, so you've got really today and tomorrow, so make sure you get it in. JocksFM.com for more details.
All right, so when we come back, your feedback on where we are here, jump on the Higginbotham hotline, 800-239-9569, and more on Auburn's play calling next on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, three-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. Let's go to John in Mobile. Wants to catch up on our discussions from today. Welcome into the show, John.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
So I'm down in Mobile. A couple of things. First, whoever made the decision to broadcast y'all down here needs a big, fat raise. So thank you very much.
Thank you for listening.
I used to listen to Jocks all the time. I lived in Birmingham from 95 to 2010. Used to listen to y'all every single day. Is Ryan Haney still the suit, or is he up?
No, don't talk about him.
I don't know.
Don't talk about him.
No.
He's the
Voldemort. The suit is worn. It's dirty.
It's pressed.
It's wrinkly, but yes, he is still the suit.
Yes. Max
He's
suit.
still the suit. All right, cool. All right. Well, hey, listen, thanks again for y'all putting that down here, and I'll be listening every day. Y'all have a blessed day. War Eagle.
War Eagle. We appreciate you, John. Thanks for tuning in. We're excited to be on in Montgomery, in North Alabama, in Mobile, statewide now. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. John is in Birmingham, wants to chime in on the Higginbotham hotline. Welcome in, different John.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
All right. Hey, Cole, let me ask you a question, man. Do you like Hugh Freeze, man? You and Hokanson?
I can't speak for Justin Hokanson. I've known Hugh Freeze for a long time. Yeah, I like him.
It just seemed like, you always come off kind of negative about Hugh Freeze, man. I think Hugh Freeze recruiting and everything he's doing at Auburn, I think he's doing a good job considering where he came from, man. I played ball. All of us have played ball, man. And, just to even going back to the play calling. All right, let's go all the way back to Pat Dye. You remember Larry Blakeney, the late Pat Sullivan, all of them were calling plays together. So I think you all kind of blowing this out of proportion, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just taking this to somewhere it don't have to be, man. I just think it's a little bit overblown.
I apologize for taking it to that place in your opinion, John, but I appreciate you listening to the show. I feel like I did a fair job of laying out that if this is contractual, that would be your out here. But Zach Barnett, who writes for Football Scoop, covers coaching moons, says he's never heard anything like it. Greg has said he's never heard anything like it, if that's the way it operates, and we've put an if behind it. The problem that I've laid out is that it's gotten to this point publicly where it's going to be a distraction, it's going to make people question it, and people are going to talk about it. So, have I been that negative?
I don't think none of us are negative. We're purely saying I've never heard it done like this. It's a little. I don't want to say it's necessarily uncomfortable. It's just I've never heard it done like this. Like it's a certain way of doing things, and kind of laying it out like, well, sounds like there's a few too many cooks in the kitchen from an offensive play calling standpoint, based on the story. Like I said, could be a contractual cover-up, to which I would completely understand to avoid lawsuit from Ole Miss. Totally get it. If that's what's going on, by all means. But it's not negative. It's just different.
Listen, John can say whatever he wants. Hugh Freeze is 11-14 at Auburn, 5-11 in the SEC. I'll wait for the cheerleaders to line up for that. You can call that negative. I call it real. I don't know what else to call it. Don quickly in Homewood. Welcome in, Don.
Hey, Cohen. Hey, guys, y'all aren't doing anything wrong. Kent Austin shouldn't have said what he said. Guys, I hate I'm going to miss the event next Thursday. I'm going on my cruise, but hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Cohen, War Eagle.
Hope so, Don. War Eagle. Appreciate you listening to the show. Corey Reamer, former Alabama linebacker, going to join us on the other side. Has some pretty significant news to share. And we will talk Alabama Crimson Tide, maybe in a positive manner, when we come back next.
This is McElroy and Cubelic in the morning.